All right, my friends, welcome back to the RPG Backlog, where we tackle RPGs in our backlog. See how that works? Back here with the Dream Team, it's Travis and Tom and me, Larry, the professor. We are talking about a little game called Final Fantasy III. That's right, we're back on our Final Fantasy bullshit. How you guys doing?
Doing great. I love this. That's how it feels too. Like we were planning this out, and it was like I needed a little break. Thank you guys for filling, I guess, the whatever other backlogs you were working on. But I've got a little more bandwidth now. I'm excited to be back. And Final Fantasy III, it's got its own sort of obscure little things that make it special and unique in the canon. So it's going to be fun to dig in.
Awesome. Well, you did a little bit of research before the podcast, Tom, and you agreed to lead this conversation. So why don't you tell us a little bit about Final Fantasy III?
Our dear listeners, I quote unquote agreed about 6 seconds before we went live here. So you're lucky that I even took notes, Larry. So
damn. Excellent.
Yeah,
this is great.
exactly.
I get to sit back and relax.
I go back to what I said before. I go into this shit blind. I don't know diddly squat, and this is why I do this, where I don't get put on the spot to be like, oh, you get to explain all this shit. No, I can't. Sorry.
Well, so maybe we'll start with something of kind of an interesting parallel. This was near the end of the article, but one of the things that it did mention that I thought was fascinating, right? So Final Fantasy III, what is it? Released in 1990. And we don't need to make the, North America, Japan, because like it wasn't released anywhere but Japan in 1990. And you guys might know this. When did Super NES come out?
91?
Right. And so what they said was that this was basically Square was developing this game for the Famicom while Nintendo themselves were developing the Super Famicom. And so they were just, there's a quote in there from one of the lead designer, Tanaka's is the family name. And basically he says something to the effect of like, yeah, we were going to do a localization of this, but we were just like, busting our tails so hard to keep up with the new console. They ran out of time. They didn't have the resources to do it, and so it was never done. And as a result, the first North American and European release, I believe, for this game was in August of 2006. So a full 16 years after it came out for the NES, it finally found its way to other places, and that was on the DS was when they did that.
And was that the original game, or was that like a remake of some kind?
I think that the 3D remaster. It is a remake. Yeah.
Oh, it wasn't even the original.
It wasn't even the original. You're right. So then, somewhere down here, I think they have the release.
I see it right there. It's
2009 was when it was on the Wii Virtual Console. So that was the first time. That's crazy. Damn near 20 years that nobody outside of Japan could play this game.
Well, and this is listing 2009 as the Wii Virtual Console for Japan, not even worldwide.
Can that be right? The 2001 worldwide? It was really 30 years?
Well, no, because Final Fantasy III, that's the remake. Oh, that's the fucking remake. This is saying that the original Final Fantasy, the 2D version, was not released worldwide until 2021, but that's wild. Because,
crazy, right?
Yeah, because I keep remembering, and I didn't know it was the 3D remake coming out on the DS. I kept remembering that it came out on the DS, but this is, it fucking came out on the Ouya. That's a 3D one, though. Jesus.
What did you call me?
Come on, someone here had to have an Ouya. Travis, did you have an Ouya?
Hell no. I will admit that when I saw it on I think it was Kickstarter, right?
Probably, yeah.
I was like, oh shit, that's hella cool. But when did the Ouya release? I'm trying to remember. That was like 2012?
2013. Yep.
I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, but like a lot of the games on it that they had at the time, I was like, yeah, I'm going to hold off on this. And I know someone that actually got one and was so pissed off because it had potential and then just the company shat the bed.
Yeah.
Read me in. What was it? Was it like a little emulator box or
Oh
what?
yeah, it was like a little Android-based console, and it's like a little square thing, about the size of like two Rubik's cubes, 2 or 3 Rubik's cubes.
Yeah.
And it was an open source thing where they were promising the ability to have a bunch of different games from all these different consoles on it, and that was back when it was basically what emulation has become, but it was like 2013 and on its own console.
Oh my God, the buttons are labeled O-U-Y and A.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Oh yeah.
That is
supposedly
hubris right there, man.
the build quality was supposedly hot garbage, but yeah. Anyways, that's not the conversation we're here to be talking about. So
let's derail. So yeah, I guess, according to, if we're going to take Wikipedia as word, it looks like the 2D version of Final Fantasy III, the first time it came out worldwide, that version wasn't even that version, honestly, because it was the pixel remaster. So it was the remaster of it. So maybe it never came out. But this is listing Final Fantasy III worldwide 2D version as 2021, the version we're playing. I assume we're all playing the pixel remasters. So
yes.
Yeah. Still there. So
on a smattering of different settings I'm looking forward to, but yes,
of course.
Yeah.
So
according to Square Enix themselves, the first time that the 2D version of Final Fantasy III was released worldwide was when the pixel remasters on July 28th, 2021.
That's 21 years later. Wild. We're playing a game that wasn't available for 21 years.
Well, this version wasn't available for 31 years.
Oh God, I can't do math. 31 years.
Jesus Christ, dude. We went to the same high school, right? Like we.
For the record, I teach English. I teach English.
I'm just saying, dude. What the, if I can remember this shit, you have no excuse, man.
Oh man.
I'll be interested again. Just going into this, something that will be interesting to see is that I think when we were reading up on Final Fantasy II, there was a bunch of people sort of knocking that one as like, oh, it's kind of, it's the weird one or whatever, black sheep, blah, blah, blah. This game has had kind of like a cursed release history, because one of the other things that the article talked about was that it was, do you guys know the Wonder Swan? You know this console?
Oh, I read about it on here, but please tell.
This was like Bandai's effort to hop into the game space circa 2000, 1999 kind of thing. And number one, this console ran on a single AA battery for like 20 hours or something like that, which is nuts.
Wow.
Yeah. But that was kind of cool. But anyways, they were trying to kit it out with a bunch of software at the beginning of its release. And so they went to Squaresoft and were going to do basically remakes of all of the original Final Fantasy 1, 2, 3, And I think it launched with 1 and 2. 3 was going to take a while, so they were like working on it, I guess. Somehow 3 didn't happen, and they still skipped over it and released 4, but never came back and did 3. So it's just Final Fantasy 3 is always a bridesmaid, it kind of seems. So we'll see. I don't know. Is it just because it's not as good as the other ones, or all the reviews seem to say that it was good? There's a bunch of new stuff in this one, not new, but like, well, it was new at the time, but then went on to be in all the other Final Fantasy. Job switching shows up here, which I don't know that much about, but is apparently a thing in other Final Fantasy games. And
hell yeah!
So this is where I was confused, and Travis, you can help here, I think. Although Tim knows as well. So when I was reading this, I was like, this doesn't make any sense, because Final Fantasy 1, you had a class, you had your job, but what they're meaning here is that the job changed. Like you can change to a new job. Right? Yeah. Okay.
And there's some cost associated with that, but also presumably that flexibility has value in the game. So
so Final Fantasy 1, technically you did change a job, right? You started out as like a fighter, and then you did the quest, and you would become a knight.
Tail. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So that was technically a job change, but it's
like an upgrade.
There was a predetermined, like if you were A, you could only become B. Hard stop. There's nothing else. This is, hey, I have a black mage. I've got the stats. I'm going to switch this black mage to a knight. F off. Now, if this works like some of the later games, you retain some of the abilities of the Black Mage, but now you can also grab some of the abilities as a knight. So, and I don't know if this is going to be the case here, but I'm taking off of like Final Fantasy Tactics. Like literally, you would do this shit where you would get a knight and you'd be in heavy armor, and then you'd do some stuff and become a Black Mage, and then you'd literally have a Black Mage rolling around the field in heavy full-on armor, and people would be like, I'm going to come up and melee you, because usually a Black Mage dies in one hit, and they'd be like, bink, you're hitting heavy armor, so you're taking no damage, and you're nuking the living crap out of everything on the field.
Right.
But I don't know how many jobs there are. I'm looking at this because, you know, I looked this up, and I think I saw there's looks like around 20 classes in here, it looks like. And I'm just eyeballing it, right?
Are some of them like that higher tier, like advanced, like further on the skill tree, or is it 20 different types of like introductory class?
No. Like, I'm going to assume that a lot of these you have to earn one way or another. So, for example, in Tactics, you started off, like everyone started off as a squire, hard stop, that's it, right? And you would do certain things in the game, and you would uncover or discover other classes by using certain skills, which is kind of like, so like if you were a squire and you kept using potions a lot, you would unlock the alchemist class, right? Whereas if you were casting a lot of really like low level healing spells, because squires could cast it, like I think it was like a heal, you would unlock the white mage. If you cast like fire, you would unlock the black mage, et cetera, right? Like those are the things you would unlock by doing specific things in the game. And as you leveled up, your job class would go up, and then it would unlock other jobs for you to open. How it's going to work here, I don't know diddly squat. I just see the list, and there's obviously physical oriented and magic oriented classes, but I see things like the Geomancer, which usually has stuff
for myself. Do you guys want to know how it works?
No.
Oh, okay. It's not that exciting.
No, it's probably not.
It's a crystal game. There's crystals again, and so
yeah,
as you sort of claim or unlock, or I don't know what, but the crystals are what gate your access to the higher level jobs.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, at the time, obviously they're not going to be able to do what they did on the PlayStation 1, right? Like that's why Tactics was so in depth. So I get that it's going to be a lot more simplistic, but the idea is still the same, as you can unlock other classes. I'm going to assume that some of these classes, even if you get the crystals, you're going to have to figure out.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Run into the class before you can just buy it outright, I would assume. I don't know.
Gosh, I'm on the Final Fantasy wiki for these guys. These are the cutest little character arts that they have for all of these. They look like it's like Precious Moments, but less creepy.
Yeah. It actually says switch to a variety of the classes as more crystals are found and side quests are completed. So you'll have to do a combination of finding crystals and side quests.
There's some currency associated with, you can't just do it at will, that there's something that you accrue as you move through the game, and then it costs that in order to be able to change lanes, which makes sense.
Like the ninjas gained in the hidden land of Eureka.
Oh my God, it's set in Humboldt County. Perfect.
Oh my God, that's scary.
We're battling meth heads? What else?
Yeah.
Stalking through weed fields? Oh man.
Just put your hands up and say you didn't say anything and back out slowly.
Nope, I can't see this weed in front of me.
I don't know where I am. I don't know how I got here, and I don't know what this green stuff is. I am walking away. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I'm gonna pivot from that hard and say, you know what? The other
joys of growing up in Humboldt County.
The other thing that you should be excited from that is not that is not illicit contraband is this is also supposedly when we get our first taste of summons, which I am super excited for.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, I mean, there is the summoner class in there, so
is it the only class that has access to that, maybe, or is it across characters?
Don't know.
Yeah, first to feature summon creatures, which are called forth with a summon skill. So I assume that's more than just one person.
It looks, I'm like looking at the summoner. It's like, okay, the command summons. Level 1 summon, you summon a chocobo. Level 2 is the Shiva. Level 3 is Rama. 4 is Ifrit. Titan is 5. Odin is 6. Leviathan is 7. Bahamut is 8. So that looks like the summoner's probably going to be the only one that can actually summon monsters.
This is legit Final Fantasy now. Those characters.
Yeah,
Those
those are
summons.
This is going into the realm of what modern what our generation understands as Final Fantasy. I'm not gonna say modern because you don't really have classes in most modern things. This is what Final Fantasy 14 people are like. Yep, this is Final Fantasy.
The job switching, the picking up stuff from different jobs,
having the jobs, having the summons, having a very specific role, the ability to swap or change jobs as needed. I'm assuming this is going to be like you have to do it in town or something like that, which is fine. Which is similar to Final Fantasy 14. If you want to change your job, you have to go into the town and do a quest to do it in that. But and the same thing in Tactics, you had to go. You couldn't just flip jobs in the middle of battle, which that would have been awesome if you could have. But yeah, this is going into the realm of what most people would be like, okay, this is Final Fantasy.
This is starting to get its traditional footing, maybe, after playing around with the first two. Something interesting here from the development, obviously Sakaguchi's back, Tanaka's back, like Tom mentioned earlier. Amano, the character designer, is there. Terada and Uematsu is there. And then I forget his first name. Let me scroll up real fast. His first name is Nasir. That's right, the programmer Nasir. So while they were developing the game, obviously he was in Japan working on Final Fantasy 1, Final Fantasy 2. He was like the GOAT programmer. His visa expired and he had to leave and go back to Sacramento. And when that happened, the entire staff went with him to Sacramento with all the materials to finish the game in Sacramento.
Wait, like where
Yes. Sacramento, California. Yeah.
Damn.
That's crazy, man.
So I read that and was fascinated by that. And that's a wonderful story. And they just picked everything up and they came out here so that they could finish it. What I found even more interesting is that if you look at Nasir's his body of work, Final Fantasy 3 is the last thing that he worked on.
Well, they're like, oh, you were back to Japan. You're back to Sacramento. Then fuck off.
I guess so. But the article specifically mentions that he retires after this. He never works in games again. And if you
this says that he really worked on Secret of Mana, which released in '93.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So it wasn't his very last one, but there's nothing after Secret of Mana in '93, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say in later life, 94 to present, following he retired with income from Square royalties and traveled
the world.
So,
wow.
This was his penultimate game. He was done in 1993. He was born in 57. The dude retired at 36.
And traveled the world. That's the life, dude. Travis, This guy lives in Sacramento. Get him on the podcast.
Yeah, because I just know everyone that lives in the Sacramento area.
It's a small city, right? Yeah, come on.
Yeah, shit, yeah.
It's only the capital of the state.
I don't even live in fucking Sacramento, dude. I live outside of it, man.
That's even better. He probably does too. Find him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
That's crazy. He just left his stamp on all of these super influential games, and it was just like, I'm good.
Peace. I'm retiring. This is a fuck ton of money.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if he's still getting royalties on these games, just imagine what these people that got royalties on these games probably happened when freaking the remastered came out.
Yeah, right.
Like, dude, it's like, oh, this is the gift that keeps on giving.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know, man. He probably took it hard when that Wonder Swan Color remake didn't pan out.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go for it.
No, I'm going on a tangent with the Wonder Swan, so please go.
So was I. I was going to be like, okay, well, he probably didn't have anything to do with that. It was just going to be more money in his pocket one way or another.
Dude, the Wonder Swan was created by the guy who created the fucking Game Boy. The guy who made the Game Boy made the Virtual Boy, Gunpei. And the Virtual Boy fucking sucked.
Yeah.
He left Nintendo, and then he started creating the Wonder Swan, and then he died in a car accident, and then it was over.
Wait. He died before it was released, yeah.
Crazy.
Okay, we're going on another tangent. Did either one of you ever actually use a Virtual Boy?
No.
No, I never seen one even in real life. I only
saw
found
one.
out about them because of the trophy and friggin' Smash Brothers.
So when I was younger, I had one friend that had one.
Who? What?
This is before you and I knew each other, dude.
Okay.
Okay, like this is well before high school. Or was it? I can't remember. I don't remember. I remember one person I knew had it. I went and used it one time, and I used it for like 5 minutes. I was like, okay, I gotta go throw up, dude. Oh my god, like this thing. I don't know who the hell was smoking the crack. Where they're like, yeah, this is cool. Let's release this. Anyways, so I'm not surprised that the person that was behind that was like, F off, dude. I'm going somewhere else to figure out a better way of doing this. Because the virtual that thing. Oh,
I mean,
anyways.
turning this into the Wonder Swan Color podcast, the article did go on to mention that like that was one of the only times. I think it captured like it was like 8 to 10% of the market share or something like that during its run, which is like pretty much one of the best challenges to Nintendo that anybody's ever mounted. And that's what people said. It's like, yeah, there's stuff that's weird about it. It's maybe not perfect, but it was the closest thing to genuine competition they'd had in a really, really long time. And that makes a lot of sense if it was the guy who, developed the original Game Boy.
Hey, running for 20 hours off a single AA battery, that's insane. And people come here for the tangents, okay? This is Tangents Galore cast. People are right where they want to be. I'm excited to check this out. I've been ready to get back into Final Fantasy because we've taken a bit of a break, and I just found so much to love in Final Fantasy 2, and obviously 1 was pretty good too. So, but we're getting longer, right? Each game's getting longer. This is going to be longer than the last one.
I already took the liberty of pulling up the RPG site minimalist walkthrough.
Oh, thank you. That's a good point.
Tops out at 18 sections. So
okay,
that's it. They got to be long sections.
They must be long sections.
It might be.
Because how long the beat had this at 17?
No, it had to be longer.
I thought it was longer.
I thought it was 17 or 18. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's see. It says 16 and a half. Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Maybe the other ones were closer. I remember that they did. The other one's closer to like 10 or 12 or something.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Yeah, Final Fantasy. What? Okay, so Final Fantasy 1 was 15 and a half hours. I call shenanigans on that.
No way. That was not.
Main story, 18 hours for main story and extras. I don't remember it being that long.
I finished Final Fantasy in like 8 hours.
Yeah, we were boosted though for some.
Final Fantasy. Okay, yeah. Because it's got
yeah.
Final Fantasy 2 at 21 and a half hours.
Oh, hell no. No.
Factoring in
That's
not being able to turn off the encounters and getting stuck.
That's a
right.
bald-faced lie. Like, there's no way in hell it took us that long.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Like, actually, I could sit there and see what the playtime was on Final Fantasy. I'm like, Durr.
Gosh, the 3D version of it, they have it 30 hours. So I don't know where they had it.
Yeah, I beat Final Fantasy 1 in 13 and a half hours, Final Fantasy 2 in 15 and a half hours.
Oh, okay. So it's not that far off for you.
Yeah.
Well, but I also did a lot of... Well, I didn't do a lot of grinding in 2, though. But it has 2 at 21 and a half hours, so that's...
Oh, yeah, that's a big gap, actually. Yeah.
That's a pretty solid gap. So if they're saying... Yeah, okay. It's not that bad. We'll be fine.
No, yeah, we'll be fine.
I know we're not playing it, but the 3D version has main story is 30 hours, main plus extras 34 and a half hours, and completionist is 92 hours.
Wow.
What in the
Final
gotcha
Fantasy
hell
3
is going on here?
I've got up here on How Long to Beat, there's a collections tab, and it's like Final Fantasy Complete Collection, every game. 6,787 hours to beat everything.
Oh, boy.
That's mostly probably 14, to be honest.
Would it include 14 in there?
Let me click on it, I think.
Because, 14 is kind of... it does have 14 in here, 252 hours.
Yeah.
I love how the co-op is 1,559 hours.
Isn't that great?
Come on, man. That's... Oh, but if you only
okay.
PvP, it's only 35 and a half hours. What the? So random, man.
Well, we're gonna have a good time. I'm looking forward to this, and I'm happy everyone's gonna tune in week to week to follow our journeys through Final Fantasy III and bathe in our insight. So great. Anything else before we sign off for the night?
I think that covered most what I found notable in doing a little bit of reading about it. It should be fun.
Okay, so we are going to, I don't know, we always kind of say this and see what happens, but maybe the first, 3 sections, you think? Of the
Sure. Let's
RPG
start there
site?
and see how much it kicks our butt or not, and we'll go from there.
All right, that means that for the listeners, we'll be doing section 1, which is I'm going to read things I don't understand. The Onion Kids, Ultra Cave, and Casus, whatever that is. Number 2 is Castle Sasune and the Sealed Cave. And then 3 is Kanan, Dragon's Peak, and Tosis. Boy, these fucking proper nouns.
Oh,
In
yeah.
this game. We're back in it, back in the fantasy.
They are either a weird creature, a weird town, or some sort of animate vehicle. I'm looking forward to figuring out which.
Ooh, section 7 is you go to Geisel or whatever, but those are like the Geisel greens or whatever that you eventually get for the chocobos. Same spelling. Interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
I don't think that's
References on references.
So cool.
I don't think that's how you say it.
I don't know how to say it. I just know how to spell it. You go ahead, Travis. Please tell us.
It's a hard G, really. Japanese is Gisairu, so it should be
like
Gisal.
Gisal. Yeah. Gisel greens. Gisal
I've
greens.
been saying Gashel in my head all these years, so I don't get to have an opinion.
Oh, yeah, you had the H in the wrong spot for sure.
Yep.
That's all good, though. Who the hell knows? It's just fantasy words.
Yeah.
I'm stoked because this is now where Final Fantasy starts to feel like Final Fantasy to me. Like, I enjoyed 1 and 2, don't get me wrong, but they did not feel like Final Fantasy games to me. I could see the skeleton of the Final Fantasy in there, but just something wasn't quite right. This looks like it's finally going to scratch the itch that I've been looking for from a Final Fantasy game.
That was awesome. Yeah, I think it's going to be, because all the ones I played are the modern ones before we started doing this, so I will maybe see even more DNA from this one that I am familiar with in the future ones. So,
got to get up to the old school original Final Fantasy VII and do that one.
I mean, I'm already 2/3 of the way through that one. So I'm looking forward to when we get there because I'm already way ahead.
Oh, dude, I could probably, that's one of those games. That one, I want to get my hands on Tactics. That's what I want to get my hands on. But I don't think there's a remaster of it anywhere.
There's there's just the rumor. It's the Tactics Advance one, right? That's the...
Tactics Advance, was that... because there was 2 Tactics games that were released on the DS, and right. Was it Tactics Advance was the remake? There's another one that they made that was not tactical roleplay. Yeah, it's a spin-off. Game shares several traits. Yeah, Tactics Advance was not Final Fantasy Tactics. It's not a direct sequel. It's a completely different game. I don't think Final Fantasy Tactics was ever...
War of the Lions isn't Tactics?
But that's not Tactics Advance, is it?
I think War of the Lions is different, yeah.
I think War of the Lions is the remake of the original Tactics. That was
it remake? Because they're not... Squarely Final Fantasy is Nintendo in 2003. The game settings and intros similar to the ones of its predecessors, but the cast of characters is smaller.
The game's an updated version of Final Fantasy Tactics made for the PlayStation, which released in '97. That's what War of the Lions is supposed to be.
Yeah, but I think that was just an updated version. Wasn't it still on the Final Fantasy? It wasn't still on the PlayStation?
PSP.
Yeah, PSP.
PSP.
Yeah.
Okay, well, still, point being, and that was, when was that?
2006.
2007.
Oh, so close. Goddamn.
Yeah. So, anyways, point being, wait, War of the Lions is on Google Play? What?
Oh, it's probably
iOS
mobile
apparently.
version. Yeah, exactly.
Dude, if there's on OS, I don't give a crap, man. I just want to play this game again and not have to bust out the old PlayStation.
Have you played Tactics, Tom?
No, only heard about it.
We should divert at some point and maybe do Tactics.
Oh, if we're gonna do Tactics, this is one thing I'll tell you. I am usually not a fan of guides to follow. You have to have the guide for Final Fantasy Tactics to find the job classes. Otherwise,
okay.
because there are, I can't remember how many job classes. There was a buttload of job classes in Final Fantasy Tactics. I'm talking like damn near 100.
Wow.
Many
Do with
job
that,
Final Fantasy Tactics jobs wiki.
and how are they possibly differentiated from each
Yeah,
other?
exactly.
There was like, I can't remember. Like there's one, two. Okay, there's like 30 or 40. Sorry.
All right. That's more.
But still, they are all of them are very, very different. Some of them share some things about them, but they are still very, like Divine Knights, Holy Swordsmen, and Sword Saints are all Temple Knights, Templars, Dragoneer, Dragonkin, Soldier, Sky Pirate, Game Hunter, Hell Knights, Netherseer, Heaven Knights, Sky Seer, Engineer, Machinist, Holy Knights, blah, 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 blah. And there's like fucking 20 more of them. And
Holy Knight, where's the Holy Engineer?
Yeah.
If you look at the way, yeah, there's just certain jobs. You have to get a certain job to a certain level to be able to open up another job, and you have to get like some jobs. You have to get like 4 jobs to each to a different level before that job opens up. So it's if you want to be able to get the job classes, you have to have the guide for Tactics to be able to unlock them.
Maybe we can save that as a special treat for when we finish all the pixel remasters.
I'm just saying, like I will go hog wild on Tactics.
That's a good point. We could get through all 6 and then jump on the Tactics. I like that. That's a good idea. When did Tactics come out after 7?
97. Tactics came out in 97. So Final Fantasy. Was it the same year? Yeah, I think it is.
Whoa. So. Well, that's wild.
Or did 7 come out in 98? I can't. There's like a Japan North America split, I think there.
Initial release was January 97 for that's Crisis Core. What the heck?
No.
Why is it?
What?
January 97 for the Japan PlayStation. North America was September 97. This is Final Fantasy 7. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, so Final Fantasy, January 97, and then June of 97 in Japan is when Tactics came out. And January of 98 is when Tactics came out here in the US.
So it came out after it here. Yeah.
I mean, it came out afterwards, but it was like a 6-month spread between the two of them, which is kind of
crazy. Yeah. So I remember you and Anthony playing both.
Yeah, I played Anthony's version of 7, and then when Tactics came out, we both bought it, but I was dumb and didn't buy the guide, and he did. And between the two of us, I don't know if he still has that guide. That thing was falling apart.
Was it this guide? I just posted in our Discord in the Pixel Remasters.
Did you? Pixel Remasters, let me see. Yeah, I mean, I always thought you were going to show me a picture of Anthony's actual guide.
No.
Yeah, that was the
guide.
Yeah, no, that is literally the guide that he had, and that thing was falling apart between the two of us, flipping through the pages to figure out how to get specific jobs, because one of the best jobs in there was the ninja, because it allowed you to dual wield swords.
Oh.
And then you would take that skill and then tag it up with a couple other things. And this, it might have changed since then, but I remember that, and getting a ninja was no easy feat.
Dude, this guide looks dope. I'm going to bookmark this.
Yeah, this is a cool guide. The art, man, they used to do such cool stuff.
Yep.
I mean, the one thing that I love about doing this is I sit there and I see how much love and detail was put into every aspect of the game. The game itself, the packaging, the books that came with it, everything around it, there was so much love and detail put into it. And this day and age, it's like, there are exceptions, but it feels like the majority of the major publishers slap some shit together, throw it out there, and like, oh, well, it's broken as fuck. Let us fix it. Maybe.
Oh, gross. There's a hair on page 27 of the scan. I thought it
Oh
was
my
on the
God,
locker,
that's
but it's not.
awesome. Let me find that. I will say, games are more complex now, so I can see why, that there is there are complex things to make. Where's this hair at?
Below the little island looking thing. It's page 27 of the scan. It's page 28 of the actual book.
Okay, page 28 of the actual book. Oh God, yep, there it is.
Oh wow, I thought it was something on my screen.
Yep.
Oh,
Memorialized forever.
forever.
Oh, that's cool. Well, yeah, let's do that. Yeah, I would love to play this after we get through the 6 pixels.
I mean, this is actually tough because there's also a lot of hidden characters in Tactics that you can recruit for your party. Like Cloud is a character in this game.
Oh, really?
That you can recruit, but you can only do it in a very specific time and a very specific set of criteria to do it. And it sucks because when you recruit him, you're like in your 50s and he starts out at level 1.
Oh, wow. So you got to grind him up?
Yeah. I mean, granted, you leave him in the back. You basically leave him in the back and let him do a couple little things at range. And then you kill stuff. And like he starts, I also recall like the first battle after he survived, he gained like 10 levels because of how high of difficulty everything was. Yeah, but this thing has 193 pages of scans. I'm at 128 and I still haven't gotten to the job classes yet.
Wow.
Part 4. There we go. On page 142 of the scans, you finally get to the job classes. And you can start it out as 1 of 2, Squire or Chemist. That's your option.
Right. Well, we'll have a watered down version of this to look at starting next week for this.
Exactly. All right. Well, we'll see you next week where we, having played the first 3 sections of Final Fantasy 3, and we can report back what we think. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Travis. And thanks, everyone, for listening. If you like our podcast, rate it on your podcast service of choice. If you don't like it, fuck off. Don't rate it anywhere. We'll see you next week.
If they don't like it, we'll try instead. We'll have a Uematsu ska cover band called the Onion Kids.
I love it.
This isn't like anything else where any type of engagement's good engagement.
Hey, if we got some people throwing onions at us and some Onion Kids, it's good. I like the ska idea. That's good. Or a spa. That sounds good too. Onion spas for everybody. All right. We'll see y'all next week.
Peace.